What's up? This is Tom from Tom's Project Guitars, and today I'm going to put a Raspberry Pi Pico into my Rock Band 2 Strat, just to see if I could, and spoiler alert, it worked, which I was kind of thrilled about because I was really intimidated going into this project, mostly because there wasn't really many videos on it, and what videos I saw, shout out to, I think his YouTube channel name is Ninja Pones at Life, but I can't remember his real name, but that dude has been a lifesaver when it comes to just like being like a visual learner, I guess. But it's also fun just hearing him, you know, talk. It's kind of like how I do my videos, just kind of like a voiceover. But yeah, this what I showed was a little hack on how to get the headstock off a Rock Band guitar. You just unscrew it, take that little button, press it in, and there you go. Then you just screw it all back together. But yeah, first step is just dismantling this guitar. I will say this was either the first or the second guitar like I ever like modded with like third-party like parts, I guess. Is it third party? I don't know. But I used Byte Arts. He has a FRETFIX for Rock Band, which basically gives it like little tiny like micro switches, or not micro switches. I don't know what they are, but like little tiny clicky like switches. They're small. There's one right there. You can go back and pause if you need to. You can see it through the fret hole. Oh yeah, don't forget to screw underneath the red button when you're taking apart the neck. So now I'm taking off the battery and the back cover, getting all the small parts out of the way. Oh, and I also used the STRUMFIXPLUS4 strum board thing. It also has LEDs in it. But yeah, just continuing to take apart the neck. This plastic was really tight on here, so I was like, I thought I missed a screw. But yeah, you can see the soldering work I did like a year and a half or 2 years ago, before I even thought about doing videos like this. So I'm just desoldering the stock wires from the new board, the new fretboard, because I'm going to use the fretboard, or fretboards, but I'm going to take away the stock wiring and replace it with all new wiring. Oh, and my big ass head gets in a lot of the frames, like during like this video. So whenever I'm wiring up the Raspberry Pi Pico, I made some wiring diagrams that are like circled to show like exactly what I'm doing, because once again my big ass head got in the way. But yeah, those are the boards. You can see the little tiny switches. This little metal clip fell out of the headstock neck part, so I just put it back in. There's a shot of the boards. They're all clearly labeled, which is nice. Especially on the back of this board that I'm taking apart right now. Or no, sorry, I'm taking out the tilt switch right now, because the tilt switch didn't work in this guitar. I'll fix that later. But yeah, just snipping some wires that I planned on reusing. I reused the wires that are in the strum board. But just make sure you get all the screws out. On the back of the board, it's clearly labeled. Hopefully it will be on your board, so just make sure you take some notes, color code whatever the wires are, do whatever you need to do to remember it. You're not going to use all of it unless you want to, I guess. I only stuck with the basics. No LEDs. I didn't use the sync button. I did keep the wires in there though, in case I wanted to use them in the future, because you can just go in and put them into any GP pin of the Raspberry Pi Pico. There I am tying up the sync button, or the sync button wires, just to get them out of the way. There's my new ribbon wire, some USB, 15 feet USB wires. There was a breakout board for the Raspberry Pi Pico. Here's the Raspberry Pi Pico with the header pins. You're going to want to install the header pins into the breakout board. It'll be a nice tight fit. I'll try to put the links of everything I use in the description. But But yeah, you just put the Raspberry Pi Pico right on top. As long as you orient it the right way, you want to be able to read the sides with the USB port facing up. Those will be the correct pins and the correct orientation. Now you're going to want to go in and solder each pin to the board so that it doesn't go anywhere and has a nice solid connection. I haven't soldered like consistently in a long time, so try not to judge my solder job too bad. You can definitely judge it, I don't care, but you know, I've done better solder in my days. And then my big ass head was in the way for the other side, so I just cut to it. That's what the board looks like. Now I'm tinning up the fretboard wires. I'm trying to re-tin those. I wish I had solder wick so I can get all the old solder out. My big ass head got in the way for the main board, so there's the mini board, the solo buttons. For mine, I wired it to the standard pins, which are in the center, at least on this variation of the board. Now I'm just hot gluing some of the wires down. I put some over the solder joints itself just to give it a little more security. Now I'm reinstalling or reassembling the neck. Make sure you get all the wires away from the standoffs. You don't want to pinch any, create a short in anything. Because if you do that, you're not going to have a fun time. Don't forget to screw underneath the red button of the main board, the main fretboard. Damn, I have a fan that is loud as hell in my PC. Hopefully you can't hear that. But yeah, I had to remove 2 of the screws from the STRUMFIXPLUS board to get out the tilt switch. So I reinstalled those while putting in the neck, so I didn't forget. Byte Arts was the first, I keep saying third party, but I don't know if that's a correct term. I feel like it is. But that's the first company I heard about when it came to like modding things. Because for most of my life I played Rock Band, even though I was a bigger fan of Guitar Hero. There's the main board cut out. I'm going to put that in a baggie, keep it separate. There's those calibration sensor wires right there that I'm holding. I'm going to snip those because I'm not going to use those, but I am going to keep the sensors in just to keep the holes plugged up. Now I'm trying to do some wire layout just to see if everything fits to where I'm going to put the board. D-pad and start and select wires kind of had me a little nervous because they were a little short, but they fit pretty much where I put the Pico, so it's all good. The effect switch, on the other hand, or the pickup selector, whatever you want to call it, I took all the wires out, the stock wires, reflowed some solder back onto it, and attached some new wires so that they'll reach. I also put a little bit of hot glue on there just to give it some security. My left pin of my effect switch was my ground, by the way. Whatever pin is like bridged to the outer housing of the effect switch itself, that'll be your ground. Now here I am positioning the Pico, making sure everything will fit where I want it. Now I came in with some hot glue. I just put some on some standoffs from the main board just to hold it in place. Now here I am bridging the up on the D-pad and down on the D-pad to the strum up and the strum down. Those have to be combined. I also combined some of the grounds since I was there already. I also tinned them, even though I'm not soldering them to the board. I tinned them just for security to keep the wires twisted together. Now here I'm twisting the grounds from the whammy and the effect switch together, along with the 3 volt pin. Now you can put like the strum up and down, the D-pad, start, select, PS button. You can do whatever you... Oh yeah, I dropped a little piece of solder there that was like fused to the plastic, so I couldn't get that out. Now we're doing D-pad and start and select. What happened to my video edit right here? Jesus. But yeah, just putting all the pins there. You want to, the really important pins that you want to make sure are in the right location are from the effects switch and the whammy bar. Anything else, they can go to any GP pin on the Raspberry Pi. Now we're moving on to the PlayStation button and the PlayStation ground. Once again, just putting the wires into the terminals, screwing them down. Moving on to the data pin, which is the middle pin of the whammy bar and the effects switch. Both are the same. They get twisted together and put into the, I think the 3 volt. Am I crazy? Oh yeah, here we go. Now we're doing the 3 volt. Why does my video keep doing this? God damn it. Now we're doing the strum board. Or not strum board, I'm so sorry. The fretboard. This is the main fretboard right now. But like I said, it doesn't really matter wherever the pins go. You can put them wherever you want. The only thing that matters are the whammy and the effects switch. Yeah, just going down, doing some wire management as I go, even though it's neater than the first guitar I did. This is the second guitar. The first one was a test before I put it on video, which was a good thing because the first one is a rat's nest on the inside, and I didn't use a breakout board, so some solder joints probably broke because I had some really thin wire. I didn't have this cool ribbon wire to work with. Now we're moving on to the solo board. Just putting them inside the terminals, no big deal. Remember, you can always pause, look at the wiring diagrams if you need to. If it helps to copy mine, go for it. That's why I make these, so hopefully it'll help in the future, anyone who needs it. Here I'm just trying to make the wires a little more pretty, trying to make sure there's no bridging happening between the wires. Now we're out in the USB wire. I got a 15 footer just to make sure I have plenty of room. I ended up cutting off the battery compartment wires because you don't need them anymore. Routed the wire through the headphone jack, even though it's not a headphone jack, it's for the star power button. You can get like a little foot switch for it. But if you're a Guitar Hero and Rock Band nerd, you most likely already know that. But yeah, just making sure to wrap the wire around some standoffs, putting some hot glue down. You don't want that wire getting ripped out. Now here is the tilt switches that I bought a few days later. We're going to test the continuity of them to see what orientation they go in. Sometimes they're inverted. So when the pins were down, it was making a connection. When the pins are vertical, they weren't making a connection. So just make sure you test. You can always adjust them when you go in. I kind of just threw these tilt switches in kind of willy-nilly. I didn't make it pretty or anything. Like, as you can see, I just put two long wires through, because you have to wire these in series to have them to work. I think that's the term, series, because there's series and parallel. Series is when you do one leg to another leg and kind of have it, have the current pass through it as one. And now I was a little worried about shorts happening because there was this little metal tip, so I just put a little electrical tape over it. Since I was lazy, I didn't put any heat shrink or anything. I did this right after work. I was not in the mood. Not in the mood to be pretty. Now here's the wiring diagram in full. Pause, screenshot, do whatever you need to do. It'll be on the screen for a few seconds. At least 15. I think I set it to 15. And then we're going to go plug in the guitar to do some configuration with the SANTROLLER configurator. Link will be in the description to download that. Directly wired. It's a Raspberry Pi. I want to emulate a Rock Band guitar, so I picked Rock Band guitar. Let it do its thing, let it write. Now we do the keybinds. Now you're going to see me remove tilt, and that's because when I did this, I didn't have the tilt in. I also removed the like touchpad thing because there's no touchpad. So now you're going to want to go in, hit the down arrow, hit find pin for each of the keybinds, and then press the corresponding button. It'll automatically find the pin. You don't have to do pretty much anything. This is the easiest way to do it. You just hit find pin, hit the corresponding button. It'll find it if the wiring is right. Just keep going through every single option, because as you can see, you can't save your settings unless you do everything correct. So just keep going through, find the pin for everything. Luckily, everything was almost in like a linear fashion, other than like a few things. It was actually like pretty crazy. Even though I did hopefully follow the wiring diagram like to a T. I tried to do my best so that nobody called me out for anything. Like, oh, you put the start in the fucking select pin. And it's like, okay, sorry. But yeah, now for the calibrate the whammy. Hit calibrate. Follow the steps. It's almost like the Retro Cult Mods programming tool. It's almost exactly like it. Now I don't go into detail on doing the effects switch, but what you basically want to do is go to the setting up a guitar thing on the SANTROLLER website. I will also put a link in the description. Sorry if I'm rambling. I slept 4 hours last night and just trying to get this edited out, or else I'm never gonna release it. But yeah, just make sure you hit save settings. Make sure it writes 100%. Now here's where I came in and actually added in the tilt sensor setting. Now don't be like me if you're using the same switch as I did. Change it from analog pin to digital pin. Analog pin input to digital pin input. And I hit find pin, lift the guitar, bing bang boom, found it. Now here I'm being a little slow. Hit save settings so that it saves your settings, or else the guitar will not remember it. This thing was also plug and play on my PS5 for Rock Band 4, as well as Clone Hero on my PC. Now, like, this guitar took a little bit. Oh my god! Sorry, the wind is crazy. This guitar took a little bit of time to do, because it's not plug and play like the Retro Cult Mods kits or any other kits that are out there. Like, you actually have to study and like figure out what wires go to what if you're using the stock wires, and like take notes and do wiring diagrams. I mean, like, you don't have to, but I do, because I like to be thorough and not have to go in several times and get mad and potentially break things like inside the guitar. But yeah, I do recommend doing this. It gets the brain juices flowing. It's a fun little project, especially if you have like an old guitar laying around that you want to use. Or if you want to pay somebody to do it, go right ahead. That's fine too. But yeah, just playing some Metallica, I think, in this demo. Looks like Metallica. Do my best to shred with these buttons that I'm not used to. I do like the Byte Arts strum bar a bit. It's not clicky. I think they're like red switches, kind of like how the fret buttons are in the Retro Cult Mods kit. I think they're the red switches. Don't quote me on it. But like, they don't have like the tactile like feedback you get is more of like the plastic hitting together and not like a click, like how like the blue switches are in the Retro Cult Mods strum bar. But I like it. The only thing I can't really get along with are the FRETFIX boards. Like they're cool. Like if I'm having, since like I work with my hands get like really screwed up and sore. Like it's cool if I want to have a, like, you know, have a day where I'm playing Guitar Hero Rock Band and not have to, you know, kill my hands even more. But, you know, you might like them. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean you won't. But they're in my guitar. They're going to be in there forever, you know. I don't plan on taking this guitar apart again unless something fails and I have to go in and fix it. But let's hope and pray that doesn't happen. But yeah, this is Tom from Tom's Project Guitars. Hopefully this video helped. If not, once again, I'm sorry. I'll try to make more videos on stuff that I know how to do. But for the meantime, I don't have any projects until I you know, get some project money. So if you want to like and subscribe, be on the lookout for future videos. I'll also do real guitars at some point, get back to that. But yeah, like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully it'll be a fun project. Alright, see ya.